Hey y'all, I'm gonna be reviewing episode 91 of Gegege no Kitarou, and I gotta say, this one really got to me from a feel standpoint. And y'all can check out my live reaction if y'all want to see that. But let me just say, Toei, thank you for another masterful episode, and let me explain why this episode is masterful. Now, from a story standpoint, this episode is pretty much about a play director named Hongo who wants to do the Misty Night of Angkor Wat to try to, at the very least, find out why his wife Sarah committed suicide 40 years ago. And then I like how during this episode it brings up a nice sense of mystery, because it shows the events that happened 48 years ago. And essentially what happened was Oni, there was this ghost named Oni, or yokai, but the episode didn't give him yokai caption, so he could have just been a plain ghost. Well, he essentially gets his soldiers to follow him, and he abducts girls, and then he eventually abducts Sarah 48 years ago. Kind of does something to her mind where she remembers things from her past life, and then afterwards she returns to her boyfriend at the time. I mean, no, not her boyfriend, her husband at the time, which is Hongo. And then afterwards it shows you that after 4 years they try to do the Misty Night of Angkor Wat's play. And this time though it goes fucking AWOL because Sarah commits suicide with poison, and that's where this episode gets pretty fucking crazy when you see that Hongo's wife committed suicide in the past. Because I like how in this episode it gives you subtle hints, and there's just a slight spoiler if y'all haven't seen the episode yet, but it gives you hints that this Sarah was actually the reincarnation of Warren, and that Hongo, he had something to do with it in the past with the whole Warren situation 400 years ago, because then it explains later on that Hongo was actually Kimura's, who was actually the lover of Warren, but the situation there was that Kimura poisoned the wells that was in the village where Warren lived in, and it unfortunately poisoned a lot of people. And then Warren gets pissed at Kimura, and then she's like, she's never gonna forgive him, no matter what, even if they reincarnate. And then afterwards, we kind of see that things go AWOL, because then Oni, which is actually Warren's brother, accidentally kills Warren because it gets all foggy, and a lot of Warren's soldiers die because they drink water from the poison well, and it ends up in a fucking extremely dire situation. And during all this, I was just like, dang, this episode got really dark in its flashback, and I like it because the thing about Gegege no Kitarou is the light moments, we get a lot of them, but whenever it gets dark, it feels dark because Toei rarely uses those dark moments, but when they do, they use it to a masterful effect. And it has a nice whiplash effect because it's rarely used. Kind of like when you're playing, say, like with a deck of cards, say a trading card game, and you save up your best for last, for like the perfect opportune moment. I love how Toei does it. And then once you get that, it's like, whoa, it just hits you. Because I like how once you see all that, it automatically makes you care for Warren and Kimura, or should I say Hongo, because that's pretty much who Kimura reincarnated into, a man called Hongo. And I like how afterwards this episode shows you snippets of Kimura suffering, because after 48 years you see Kimura sad, always wondering why his wife died and all, committed suicide and all that. you see him caught with terminal cancer. And I like how this episode makes you feel sympathy for the man, because it's like, dang, man, this dude is suffering. And that's what I thought Toei did well, because when they revealed that Warren, or should I say Sarah, the reason why she committed suicide was because in the past life, 400 years ago, Chimera poisoned the wells, and that's why she committed suicide. That was just extreme. That was like an epic, mind-blowing twist. And like how afterwards, you have Warren noticing how much Chimera's, or should I say Hongo, suffered. She finally decides to forgive him. And then when it has a sequence with Hongo passing away, and you see a young Hongo and Sarah just holding hands, and you see Hongo finally forgiven, I thought Toei gave us like a nice catharsis, because they showed you the suffering of Hongo, and then at the end you see him, since he actually really truly does feel bad about his sins and that he did in the past. He was able to finally be forgiven, and especially because he suffered a lot. I like that. Like when you see Sarah forgive him, that was a beautiful sequence, and it actually made me feel a lot of emotions, I gotta say. And that's why I thought this episode did well from the story standpoint. It was multi-layered, it was beautiful, and honestly brought it all. And from the character standpoint, it was great. You actually see why Oni had a thing against Hongo for a bit, when he's like, oh yeah, I'll get my wish eventually, which was Sarah 40 years ago committing suicide. And it actually introduces you why, because Oni looked like a nice guy. And then at the same time, it makes you feel for Sada, should I say, Warren, because you see how much she had a good relationship with the brother and all that, and just to see the way she went down was sad. And then it makes you feel for Chimera too, even though yes, he poisoned the well, he did truly try to at the very least protect Warren, even though Warren did not want to escape with them. That was a beautiful sequence there. So that's why I thought this episode had so many great moments. Even Mana, even though Mana was, you could argue that she was used as decoration, I thought she was used a step above decoration in this episode, because there is a scene where I love the sequence where Sarah temporarily takes over Mana's body, and she mentions to Hongo that she forgives him. That was a nice, beautiful sequence. And at the same time, I like how in this episode you even see Mana tell Hongo that, oh, she's actually a friend of Kitarou. Like moments of that where Mana's openly expressing her friendship with Kitarou was really, really nice. So that's why I thought this episode had a lot of nice character bits. Thought the animation were pretty nice, actually, especially the art. There were a lot of good art shots here, like when Cat Chick's about to use her claws against Ratman in this comedic sequence. That was pretty nice. And then the sequences where Hongo was tearing up was pretty nice too. And yeah. And the music was all placed. It actually made me feel a lot of emotions. And that's why I can honestly say I'm going to rate this episode a 10 out of 10. It just brought it all. It had nice twists. And honestly, it's always nice to get to see Cat Chick in different outfits in the past. As a Cat Chick fan. And that's why I love this episode. So anyways, y'all, these are my thoughts on Gegege no Guitar episode 91. Be sure to comment on your thoughts on how I feel about my reaction in the comment section below. Rate the video, share it, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later if you come back for more. Alright, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great and safe day. Bye-bye.